What if we created a community, an ecosystem in the field of electronics components and systems, to allow researchers and technologists from SMEs, large enterprises, research and technology organizations to network, generate innovative ideas, build consortia, accelerate digital innovation, and turn it into applications which enable sustainable growth. An ecosystem where national funders, the public authorities, can easily see the valuable achievements of the participants for their economies and society. An instrument that catalyzes sustainable digital transformation to create new ways of working and living for all of us. Xecs, a Eureka cluster, is a program for the electronics components and systems community, designed to build international RD&I consortia, help access to funding, and manage collaborative projects with exploitation and growth opportunities for all the partners involved.
How to submit a proposal in the project zone for the Eureka Cluster Xecs. My name is Nadja Rohrbach. I'm the director of the Eureka Cluster Xecs. I will give you a short introduction, and then my colleague, our program manager, Shéhérazade Azizi, will present you all the details for the project zone to successfully submit a proposal. She will explain you how you can register, how you can invite other partners, how to enter all your data, etc., etc. So the webinar, we have a short agenda, so I will give you a short introduction, and then the main part will be for my colleague Shéhérazade. And at the end, we will also have a Q&A session. For the next slide, please. So just for you as an information, we will record the webinar, and the recording and the presentation will be made public on our webpage. You can see here the link for our webpage, and we will share with you also this presentation and the other presentation after the event. If you have any questions for the Q&A session at the end, please raise your question in the question section, and all of those will be answered during the Q&A session 11:40 till 12 o'clock. Just to let you know a bit about the timeline for our third Xecs call, which you will see on the next slide. We have launched our call on the 25th of September with a matchmaking event here in Paris. You can start now to generate your project ideas, to build your consortia, and finally submit your project proposal. For the first steps, we have our ECS collaboration tool, for which we have had a webinar on the 7th of October. In this tool, you can present yourself, you can present your project idea, you can search for partners, and of course, you can look what others are proposing and which partners they are looking for. So this is a very important tool also for you to build your consortium. The project submission and also the project outline and the full project proposal submission will be done via the Xecs project zone, which we will present to you shortly. For you to note, the first deadline, very important deadline, is that the deadline for the project outline submission will be on the 18th of January 2024, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Central European Time. The next deadline will be 18th of April, if you will be invited to submit the full project proposal. We will label the projects end of May next year, so that funding and project starts will be possible as of September next year. And on the next slide, you will see several very important links for you to receive some information. I mentioned our Xecs matchmaking event. So during this event, we have had several public authorities presenting their national funding rules. We have had companies presenting their skills, presentations of project ideas, but also more detailed information about the Eureka Cluster Xecs. You can see here the link, and all the videos and all the presentations can be found there. We have 23 countries supporting Xecs, and all the funding information can be found on our Xecs website, We have videos from several countries and presentations, but you will find also there the contact details. Also very important are the eligibility criteria to respect. You can find all of them on our website, and they will be mentioned also in our presentation. And you can begin already submitting your project outline as soon as possible. And as I explained before this, you need to have an idea, and to look for other ideas. You can share your ideas with others, build your consortium, look for partners, use the ECS collaboration tool, and the webinar I mentioned from the 7th of October also has been recorded, and the recording is also available on our website. And all the projects you would like to submit to the Cluster XECS will have to be in the scope of our electronic components strategic and research and innovation agenda, the edition of 2023. And here you can also see the link to the ECS TRIA. It is available online, and you can easily search there for keywords, etc. And so with this, I would like to hand over to our program manager, Shéhérazade Azizi, who will give you a detailed explanation on how to use and navigate within our project zone. Shéhérazade, please.
Thank you, Nadja, and good morning to all of you. I'm very pleased actually to be here today for our latest webinar of the year, and focusing on the Xecs Call tree. So let's start. I will first start with what we are going to see during this webinar. So we will go through the call process. I will give you some information on the consortia and project characteristic. We'll go through a little bit more in details about the eligibility criteria. And I will mention actually as well for your information who is going to evaluate your project proposal. Then we will go more into practicalities about how to register, and the information how to create a proposal through our system, the Xecs project zone. Then I will as well explain more information on how the detailing, in fact, the proposal, and detailing the proposal, the technical proposal that you have to submit. At the end of this webinar explanation, you will have in one slide a summary of the project flow of your project outline. I will as well give you just a few words about the next step that you shall expect for the FPP, what we call the full project proposal, which is the next step. And the last but not least, I will show you the dedicated team that you can reach anytime during the proposal process. So let's start with some general information about this Xecs Call tree. So it's a two-stage procedure. So you will start actually by submitting a project outline. If this project outline is positively evaluated, you will be invited for the second stage, which is the full project proposal. Be aware already, and it's something that you will be enlightened actually through this webinar, that the national public authorities are fully involved in the process. The Xecs team is in close link with the public authorities. Depending on the national procedure of the country, either after the Xecs labeling or sometimes before, you are able actually to apply for national funding in your country. For the consortia and project characteristic, Xecs projects are a bottom-up approach. They are industry-driven, technically innovative, and business-oriented projects. The consortia, as it has been highlighted by Nadja, must cover at least an essential section of the electronic components and systems RIA that you can retrieve links from our website or with the dedicated presentation of this webinar. The project consortia can be composed, it's a private-public partnership, so they can be composed by large industry, by SMEs, research and institutes, and universities. Now, you may wonder how an XCCS typical project looks like. Based on our previous experiences of previous calls, you can see the range of data considering the project participants. So we have a range between, as I mentioned, different types of companies from 4 to 15 participants, covering from 3 to 5 countries. And as highlighted, minimum requested for a XCCS Call 3 project is to have 2 countries on board, and we strongly recommend to have more than 2 to have better chances of funding at the end of the process. The duration of the project is a 3 years project with a cost from 4 to 30 millions. And as already highlighted, should be covered the XCCS value chain. Going now more in the more specific eligibility criteria concerning XCCS Call 3. So 2 countries, strongly recommended to have at least 3. You must involve 35 personnel, but as you had seen the previous slide, the general data of a typical project, it's quite easily reachable because XCCS is focused for middle-sized projects. For XCCS, it must be direct the project must be a project of research. You have to develop and convince that you are developing an innovative project, process, or service. The program is dedicated to civilian purposes. And last but not least, you should be aware and make sure that you have a well-balanced workload between the partners and between the countries. Now, talking about who is going to evaluate your project, you will have 2 parallel evaluators. The first one is the INEAS technical expert, which will focus on the evaluation. They will have a deeper look on the impact, the quality, and the viability of your project at an international level, at the world as such. So you have to make sure that you go beyond the state of the art, that you are showing your clear objective, your goals, that the consortium, it's a complementary consortium, which is, of course, you are building an innovative project. So you have to convince the audience, but you have as well to convince that you have a target which is reachable and well-organized roadmap in your project. Again, you have to be part of the XCCS RIA. Now, in parallel, you will have as well an evaluation of a national evaluation for each partners for a country. Those evaluations are handled by each national expert. You will have to show that you have a national impact. You have, of course, to fulfill the national funding body criteria. That's why you need to be in close contact with your national public authorities. You will see later on in the presentation that you have a way actually to describe your national focus in the project proposal. You must, in this evaluation, you must describe in the PO that individually and collectively by the partner of each country that what you are clearly addressed in this proposal. And last but not least, which is really much considered by each country, it's to show the country impact and the return for national support given through the XCCL proposal. Now going more on the PO stage, creating a convincing story, pushing innovation for actual market impact, explaining the concept and consortium relevance, and presenting clear objectives. They are the highlights that you have to show in the PO. Going more into the practicalities now of your proposal. Be aware that the submission of a project outline requires two parallel information to be provided. The first one, it's the PO annex template, which you are able to upload actually in our system. I will show you in the few minutes how to handle this step. Then in parallel, and it's up to you, you will have an online data to provide in the XCCS project zone. So be aware that there are two parallel steps that you can start with your PO annex and in parallel fulfill the necessary data in the system. Let's go focus more on how to register to submit your project outline in our system. So you have here in the screen showing the project outline website that you can retrieve after our webinar. So how to register? You just log in, and as you log in for the first time, you just create an account. So you will see that you have to fulfill some general information. And to register, you will receive automatically an email in your business email address that you have provided with an access, that an access has been created for you in the project zone. So you will be invited to edit your profile and to update your password, which has been created automatically. I would like already to mention that the organization of your company may appear by default because the system is taking into account your business address. You have as well a drop-down menu, which is listed all the companies that they are already registered in our system. So please, before creating a new one because you are not finding yours, making sure that the legal name of your entity is not mentioned. If it's not mentioned, please use the legal name of your company. Now, to go more into details of the offline inputs, meaning by that it's the PO annex template information that you need to provide. Uploading the PO annex, you will see clearly some tables of content, but as well, you will have some indicative green text, which are guidelines, which guide you through the process of providing the information in the PO annex template. Be aware that the overlength constraint for a PO is 40 pages, not taking into account the last paragraph, which is partner's description, the rationale for public funding, and some annexes, that there are mainly some tables actually. So for the PO preparation, already some general remarks to be provided for this, to provide your inputs in this PO annex. Be careful on this green text. Please make sure that you are fully understand the guidelines and fulfill the information that are requested in this guideline. If not, if you have some doubts and some inquiry, please, anytime you can reach the team. You have an XCCS team that I will show you who is behind the screen at the end of our webinar. Key points: respect the page limit. Be aware that you have experts, that they have to read several proposals with several pages, so make it clear. And sometimes don't forget that a picture is worth 1,000 words and keep you in the page limit. And check for the correctness of the language, because sometimes wrong English can be very hard for the evaluators to fulfill and understand what you are trying to explain. After this general information on the PO guidelines, I will introduce now, when you're logging in the XCCS project zone, the system. So you have two ways to log in the page, in the general page of the XCCS project zone. Either you log in at the top page, you will see quite clearly mentioned create a project in the Xecs Call. You have as well another button which you can create, which is similar of the first one. When you click and create your project, you will be requested to fulfill some general information on your project, the project acronym, the description, the general description of your project, and to provide the start date and end date of expected for the project. You will be also requested to give some information on which challenges the project is targeting. You must select at least one strategic challenge from the ECCS3. Saying that, you can save your project and you go back to this general page of the XCCS project zone. And in this general page, you will be able actually to see in this area your project that you have just registered. If you have several projects, you will see a list of the several projects at which you are belonging, either as a project leader, either as an active partner, could be in previous call, for example. Also, I would like to make you aware that in the system, you have an help section, an online help section, that can save some emails or some maybe to send some emails to the team or get to the point on some general questions that you may have by providing your generic information. So they are highlighting in light blue boxes. I'm taking this example of submission process. Clicking on this submission process, I will have some general information about this section. And you can see here that you have a summary of this help section and what you can actually get some information on which section of the tool. So here, for example, you may have a question during your process, how I can create or edit my consortia. So let's take this example. So we'll have here the dedicated page on some information, how to invite partners, how the partners can accept your invitation. I will show you actually this information directly online today. So here you can see the project that you just have created. So let's have a deeper look on this project. So when you click on the partner tabs of your project created, you will be invited to invite new partner to your project. To invite new partner, you should be send them a specific invitation, and you have to provide a business email to invite them to join your consortium. When you have sent this email and your partner has accepted this invitation, each partner will receive a dedicated email to log in to your project, to the project zone, and to have an access directly to your project. We here have some highlights, or I would say maybe tips for you that belonging to past questions that we received from a previous partner. You can invite several partners from the same organization. Be aware that the first invitation that you are sending to the person, to the organization, will be the technical contact. When you send invitation of partners for the same organization, the new partner can select some option of what can belong for this organization. It can be a new technical contact, replacing the current one. It can be a financial contact, which is a requested information, or it can act as an associate, because you can have different partners that they can allow to see your project from the same organization. Now, an important information which is requested by the national public authorities, it's the rationale for funding. It's an information that you have to provide in the XCCS project tool. So at the top menu, as it's shown in the screen, you have to click on Countries tab. Clicking on the Countries tab, you will see all the countries of the partners that they belong, that they have accepted the participation for your project. Clicking on, in this example online, on France, I will give the national for France, for the different partners that they belong to, that they are French in your proposal. For example, in this test, we have Annexes belonging to France, for which we need to provide some necessary information. You will be directed to a dedicated page, for which you need to provide dedicated information on national gain, on return of investment for this partner on his specific country, to value the national consortia, the cross-fertilization at the national level, and to explain how the consortia is well balanced. I already mentioned that you have a guidelines and below the boxes, which is guiding you of what we expect you to provide as information. And I would like as well to mention already here that it is mandatory, as it is highlighted here in the screen, to contact your national public authorities upfront when you are building your project. So let's now go further and to guide you through the necessary project information that you need to provide in your created PO in the XCCS project zone. You have invited partners in your project. So let's see what the partners they need to provide as information. Each partner is allowed to provide necessary information. So clicking on the Partners tab, you will see in the active partners. When you click on a dedicated partner, you will be requested to provide some information. You can edit the partner information. You will be requested to provide information on the role of the organization and services in the project, in few words. Then you will need to provide the main contribution, the relevance of this partner within the project by describing briefly his role in the project and his main added value. Then you will have to describe a dedicated section about the task and the added value in terms of market, technology added value as well. And this you need to provide as well in the international scope of the project. Last but not least, it's the strategic importance, which is quite a key information necessary for each country, that they will look like at the innovation, but as well the business strategy impact of your proposal that you need to make clear. Then provided this really dedicated information on the proposal of each and what the partner would like to reach for this project, you will need to provide the description, the generic description of the partner, brief on what is the company. And you see that you have different tabs. These tabs, they are dedicated to the partner involved in the project. So it's a summary of the cost and effort of the partner in the project. The management tab, it's a tab that directs you to the project outline itself. Going back to the project itself, and now focusing on the PO submission, it's an action that need to be done by the project coordinator itself. So I go back to my generic page of my project that you now start to know how it looks like. So I will click on the Management tab. This Management tab, it's a drop-down menu. And to go to a version of your project online, you will need to select the subunit Project Management. Selecting this page, you will be directed to this kind of page, and you can see already that there is no documents linked to this page. This is empty. But you will have here at the bottom of the page, and it is, as you may recall at the beginning of the webinar, that I mentioned that you are able through the system to upload our PO annex. This is where you can upload the requested PO annex template. And you can see here that there is a mention about the PO cost detail. These two documents, they are mandatory, requested before and to be allowed to submit your project outline. So for the PO annex, you know how it looks like. It's a parallel step and you need to provide the necessary information. Now for the PO cost detail, it's an Excel file which is requested by each country. So by uploading the file, you will see that it's this file, it's detailing per partner, and you have to provide the direct cost, but as well the indirect cost. And this Excel file is dedicated to the national evaluation. When you have downloaded your PO, you will see that the system automatically is giving you the merged document visible in your project, in the page of your project. Here, you can see that the system has automatically merged the information. When you have uploaded your PO annex, completed, fulfilled with your information, by clicking on this merge by the system, you will see the information that has been consolidated by the system. But be aware already that it's not submitting your PO, it's just merging your project outline. And how it looks like. So let's have a look. So you will see that appearing, whereas in the template, if you recall, that you had some green text. Here you have the information that you have provided in the system. So the descriptive information of your proposal, who is the person submitting, the project leader. You have a summary of and listed the partners involved in the project with the effort, the cost, the program, some generic information. All this information that you see on the screen have been automatically copied from the system to the PO annex, and that's why we call this proposal the merge PO. And at the end, as a summary, you will be able to find quite useful tables about effort per company, per organization, per type of organization, which are quite key information for INES, but as well for each country and each national public authorities. If you look at your, back to the system, and if you look at the project zone, and you can see here that I'm in the management tab, still handled by the project coordinator, you can see here the document that you have uploaded, the PO annex fulfilled with your information uploaded. As well, here you can see that I've uploaded the cost detail. And you may actually notice that I'm able to submit your project zone, your project outline. If there is some missing information, I would like already to outline that you will have some project checklist reading box, which inform you that you have missing information before reaching the step of being able to submit a project outline. Here in my example, all is good. I have provided all the necessary information to go forward. And to go forward, I simply click on the Submit Project Outline. And I will have now directed to a dedicated page to which you will be requested to upload to the system and to this version the PO annex completed. You see in this example, we have only one PO annex and only one project cost detail. But we know that working with the national different partners and in the national program, you may actually issue different versions. The system allows you to upload different versions. So you can always work on different versions and upload your version to verify how the merge look like, if this merge is reaching your expectation. That's why this step is quite fundamental, and that I highlight today that you will have to be careful and to name correctly your file, that you select the right PO annex completed, being the latest one that you would like to appear at the PO at project outline at the end. Doing that and submitting your project outline, be aware that the system will indicate you that you have successfully submitted your project outline, and you have a summary of this PO that you can go and see how it looks like. So it's confirmed, the status is submitted. And again, quite crucial information as an added value, you can update your project outline as many times as you want before and until the deadline. So make sure that you do several tests. Make sure that you do several merge to really reach your target. And it's a specific crucial steps to be able to verify the correct English, that you have not some misinformation by some partners. So it's a crucial information. So now you may wonder, when you have submitted your PO, how your PO evaluation is going to be handled. So we have highlighted here the different steps of your PO through the evaluation process. Be aware that some dedicated expert will be assigned by the office to complete an individual report on your project outline. This individual report will be challenged, will be discussed during a consolidated meeting from the INES technical expert group. But be aware that in parallel, your PO will be as well evaluated by your national country with dedicated experts from each country. So INES team will receive the output in the system belonging to the internal national evaluation process. Then receiving this evaluation, completed evaluation from the technical experts and the national side, we will handle what we call a management committee meeting with national public authorities. It's a combined meeting, on-site meeting on which we discuss your PO, and it is at this stage that your PO is successfully evaluated or not, and that you invite you to submit for the next step. Be aware that all decisions are made with recommendation to project leader. So now coming at quite the end of this webinar and this presentation, in one slide, I would like to summarize the full process from the registration of your proposal to the decision. You have here a summary of each step or each parallel step. Let's put that from the registration to create your project, to conduct your consortium, invite your partner, contact your national public authorities. You can see that it is at the same level at the level of the PO preparation. And I remind you that it is a mandatory step before being able to submit your proposal to contact your national public authorities to make sure that you fulfill the national roadmap. Then you have a summary of what I have explained about submitting your version until the evaluation and finally the decision of the PO to go to the next step. As it has been reminded at the beginning of our webinar, keep in mind that the PO submission deadline is the 18th January 2024. Already put this mark on your agenda, please, because you have seen that you need to request several steps. So the sooner you start, the better the quality of your PO will be with taking time to provide the necessary information. Few words in 1 minute about the next step. If you successfully pass this stage of the PO, you will be requested to provide work package detail at the FPP stage. And as I mentioned, all decisions are made with recommendation. Make sure that the recommendation and the feedback you receive, which is a combined feedback from the technical expert group and the national public authorities, are met for your FPP. And last but not least, and as I mentioned at the start of my presentation, you have dedicated contacts that in the team. So myself, but you already know Nadja, and you have as well Patrick. We are dedicated to help you through your process. So there is no stupid question. You can always reach us through the process of the PO submission. So, and I would like to remind you again our deadline for the PO, but as well for the FPP, which is the 18th of April. So I hope that I know it's a very dense information, but necessary information for your next step. I hope that it has been explained clear enough. But if you have any question, now it's time to raise your hands and we can start our Q&A session. And I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Shéhérazade, for this very detailed presentation, and I hope this will be also very useful for those who consider submitting a project outline. We have received some questions. The first question is whether there is a quote for the SMEs in the project consortium. So we do not have a requirement with regard to SME participation for the whole consortium. We don't have a minimum number or minimum percentage or something like that for the whole project level. Please build your consortium the way it really fits to your project, and so that you really have a good, strong, complementary consortium. What you should do is to contact your national public authorities, because sometimes at national level, there are some requirements that at least one SME has to be part of the national consortium. The next question is, can we have a consortium with members from international companies in Middle East, Africa, or Asia? So as mentioned by Shéhérazade, the minimum and basic requirement is that you will have 2 independent partners from 2 different Eureka countries. Next to that, you can invite any partner from any country you wish. We have 23 countries supporting the Cluster XECS officially, which means that they provide a dedicated budget to fund their partners. If you invite partners from other countries, then those partners will have to make sure on their own whether they can receive funding or whether they will go for self-financing the project. Worth to mention that countries like Singapore, South Korea, Canada, South Africa are official Eureka member countries. So the next question, I think, is something for you, Shéhérazade. What is the impact of selecting more than one strategic challenges in the project basics?
It depends on, it's because in the past we had actually the question that some partners were focusing only on one strategic challenges, but through your international consortia and to the topics, and as mentioned, the project of XECS, they are a bottom-up approach, and you will clearly see that most of the time you have different strategic challenges that are reached by your project. So it's just the fact that you are able to mention them. There is not only one strategic challenges in your project. In more that, in general, don't focus on only one. You may have cross challenges that they fit your proposal.
Thank you, Shéhérazade. There is one question: when can we roughly expect free feedback after the project outline phase?
So we have, through the process that I've described, you have seen different meetings to reach a consensus evaluation. So you will know by beginning of March the result of the evaluation, which means that you will have 5 to 6 weeks if you have a successful PO and you are requested to submit a FPP. You have 5 to 6 weeks to work on your FPP and to work on the feedback of the technical expert and the national expertise.
Thank you, Shéhérazade. So please don't hesitate to ask further questions. And also, if some question you might have only when starting preparing your project outline or after this webinar, so please don't hesitate to contact us. We are really here to help and to support you. And as mentioned several times, so latest tomorrow, this webinar, the recording of this webinar and the presentations will be available on our website. And our website, you can also find all the links, for instance, how to register in the project zone. You can access this either via the XECS website or the ENEAS website. And you can also, we mentioned the eligibility criteria, something very important to respect. It would be a pity if you put a lot of effort and work into your project outline and you miss to meet one of the eligibility criteria, because this is something you cannot change later. So this is why we also have all the detailed eligibility criteria in this presentation explained by Shéhérazade, but you will also find them additionally on our website.
And I would like to add that's why we encourage you to start, even though you don't have all the necessary information. You have seen that the system is dedicated to the fact that you are able to update and to upload any information through the process. So you can already start today by creating your project outline, even though you don't have the full partners on board, because you have seen that you need to invite your partners. So they need to accept your invitation before they are able actually to enter the data. So it takes time. That's why it's something that you should start as soon as possible.
And an additional recommendation is not to wait till the last minute before you submit your project outline. As mentioned by Shéhérazade, do a test submission several days before the official deadline. And it's always recommended to submit your project outline 1-2 days before the official deadline. There can be something wrong in the system, internet connection is not well, you are facing issues submitting. If you do this at the last minute, it would be very difficult to help you. But if you start doing this earlier, then we can heal it and figure out any issue you might face. Okay, so we have received some more questions. How is a person year defined, Shéhérazade?
I don't. What is the?
So a person year is, so if you have one FTE, one full-time equivalent working for the whole year on the project, so this is regarded to be a person year, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's because we are differentiating, because in some programs that it's more the research institute that they are involved, they talk about person months. And it's to make clear that indeed, it's a fully dedicated person on the project, so that you need to provide. And as I mentioned during the presentation about this cost detail Excel file, in this Excel file, you will see that you will have to provide even more detailed information on the cost that of your partner that you are involving in your project, with mentioning the direct and indirect costs linked to the project.
There's another question: what are the rules for the balanced participation amongst the partners? So this is something, as a rough rule, you can say one partner or one country should not cover more than 70 to 75% of the whole project budget. We would like to avoid having kind of fake cooperation projects where we have one partner covering 95% and then you have 3 other partners covering the rest of the 5%. So this is not a real cooperation project. And so this is what we mean with the balanced consortium. So it's not that if you have involved 5 countries that 20% have to be covered by each of the countries. So this is not the case. It's rather really having a good, healthy, strong consortium, and you will automatically be balanced if you have invited the right partners really for your consortium. There's another question on the criterion: the project must involve at least 35 person years. So we just explained how a person year is defined. Yeah, this is the rule, so that we base this on the person years, as already explained, and I hope the explanation was helpful.
And it's at the international, it's the project as such is not per country. This maybe needs to be highlighted. So maybe it was a clear presentation, dense information.
All right, so we have no more questions. So I would like to thank all the participants of this webinar. I wish you good luck preparing and submitting your project outline, and I hope to see many of you being active very soon in our project zone. Have a nice rest of the day, and goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye, all.